Hi there, it's Kevin with the Rogue Market here with a top 10 cards to buy in anticipation for the release of the Captain America First Avenger. Now, this video will contain spoilers. If you do not like spoilers, I suggest you click away. There was a leaked card, or I should say cards, from an upcoming secret layer with Marvel. We don't know how many cards are going to exist in this secret layer, but I believe 4 of them were spoiled, and one of them was Captain America, which seems to be the most interesting card out of the bunch. Now, this is just a mock-up that someone's done for the card. What Captain America does is it's a 4/4 for 3 mana, and it has the ability of Throw, which unattaches an equipment from Captain America, and it deals damage equal to that equipment's mana value, divided as you choose among 1, 2, or 3 targets, and then Catch. At the beginning of combat on your turn, attach it to one target equipment you control to Captain America. Now, like I said, there were some other spoilers. Maybe we'll do videos on them, but typically it's the hottest commander that gets all the eyes, and those cards definitely spike up. And what I'm talking about is I used to do these type of videos, and I'm kicking myself because if you go over to EDH Rec, the most built deck right now is Valgavoth from the Duskmourn Commander decks, and there have been cards that have just gone through the roof from Valgavoth, first being Roiling Vortex. So if you can get ahead of these specs, this card was like a 50-cent card a few weeks ago, and now with everyone building the deck, and this is in 72% of the decks, of course the price of this card has gone through the roof. So it's gone from a bulk rare or close to a bulk rare all the way up to like $7 on TG Player, and like the extended arts and things like that are selling for even a hotter price. You can go and check, of course, Goldfish for the, so it's $1.50. Now, it's not quite bulk. It was $1.50. Had a little bit of spiking, I believe, from, what was the card that the Obnixilis, I believe, that came out around here, that also wanted to do 1 damage in increments of 1 damage. But now we have another commander that wants to do increment of 1 damage, and it's gone all the way from $1.50 to $7.50. So, again, this video is for anticipation that this is going to be a real card, which we're 99.9% sure it's a real card, and B, that the community is going to want to build around Captain America. And I think it's going to be a very, very popular commander to build around. Not only is Captain America incredibly popular in the Marvel universe and just, you know, the nerd fandom, but it's the best one that was spoiled. Maybe we'll have to take a look at all the spoiler cards, but for now, just looking into the abilities, this just seems like a very synergistic card, and it works with equipments and a very unique way of working around them. And again, I think this is going to be a very, very popular card to build for Commander. So, on to my number 10. My number 10 is going to be the Codsworth Handy Helper. I like this particular card because it can give your commander ward 2, which is relevant, and then it will add mana to spend towards equipment spells, and for just the tap, you can attach an equipment to Captain America. So Captain America is going to be all about juggling the equipment. So you want to be able to attach and then unattach for 3, and then be able to dish off a bunch of damage, of course giving Captain America Death Touch. I didn't even look at that angle here. I think there might be some equipments that are worthwhile to look that give Captain America Death Touch, other than when you unattach them, he doesn't have Death Touch anymore. But I guess you could keep one still attached. Anyway, now I'm getting off on theory crafting and building, and that's not this channel. That's more the Rogue Deck Builder channel. Maybe I will have to make a commander deck out of Captain America and see what I can do with it. But anyway, back to Codsworth Handy Helper. Codsworth Handy Helper has seen a dip from $6 at the high. It is down to about a $5 market price, so this is an opportune time to get in on this particular card. I like it in the scope of any aura or equipment commander in the future that, I mean, it's twofold. It's kind of weird to put in a commander deck unless they rename it. They have said they want to put Universes Beyond cards into the Magic flavor, so I could see this being renamed in a commander deck as something else. But as is, it's very hard just to reprint them before they have like a clear, concise way that they're going to get these Universes Beyond into the Magic kind of universe. But Codsworth Handy Helper, right now, any aura or equipment commander that's printed in the future, foreseeable future, is going to want one of these. So it's going to have just the longevity of this being a very stable card for just desire. It doesn't have the greatest sales, as you can see, but I mean, it has been picking up, and I wonder if these are, again, in anticipation for Captain America releasing. But I think it's a great time to get in on Codsworth Handy Helper. On to my number 9. My number 9 is going to be the Kellen the Fey-Blooded. So I like this one. This is why it's my number 9. There are a lot of cards that just tutor up equipments. all of them, I think, have either a lot of printings or their price is a lot less reasonable than going in on Kellen. So why I say that is Kellen is also at one of the lower points at $1.50 for a mythic. I don't think there's going to be a lot of Wilds of Drain open. The collectors are already gone. These set boosters, of course, will be continue to be reprinted and drafted and things like that, but bundles are already gone. This is starting to be more of a rare of a product. I think the eyes are on to other products at this point. And I mean, this was a set that's open quite a bit, and that's why this is a very inexpensive card. But for a mythic that a deck is going to want, and the vast majority, in my opinion, of decks that build Captain America are going to be wanting to run as many tutors as possible because there's a particular equipment that you absolutely want to get on Captain America. So all of them are going to be included in Captain America. This one just seems to have the best price point based upon its rarity and number of printings, and the abilities are fine here too. So the adventure side is going to get an art equipment. That's what all you really care about it. You're not really trying to go like a go wide strategy with Kellen. It's just going to be that half of the card that I think is going to be what people want for Captain America. As you can see, the sales aren't too terrible. There are plenty that sell per day. It seems like there is like an increase with a three-month snapshot. There was about one sold per day. And now it does still say that we are still selling one per day. But if you look at the last few days, I mean, it's definitely been more than one. So this is picking up the quantity. The overall quantity in the market right now isn't the greatest again at under 1,000 copies, and that can evaporate quite quickly when people start building the Commander decks. So on to my number 8. My number 8 is going to be the Stonehewer Giant. This is another card that gets printed a lot, but it is right now a very reasonable time to pick up. It is on a bit of an upswing here. I'm not sure if there is an equipment-based deck at the moment, but this is searching a library for an equipment card and put it onto the battlefield and attach it immediately to a creature. So the tutor effect, this is a 5 mana card, so it's going to come out after Captain America, and then you have to still activate the ability. But the more the merrier of these type of effects that you can get going to find that particular equipment you want and attach it immediately to Captain America, I think is quite good. This also allows for finding other pieces of equipments. Like the more the merrier you can get on Captain America, the more unattaching and attaching you can do. And as I stated earlier, like finding the Death Touch type equipments, I think are going to be good for Captain America as well. So Stonehewer Giant, I think, is a very reasonable time to get in, and this is pretty much a staple of EDH. There have been plenty of, or I guess we should call it Commander now. It just is officially gone, but you can see it's got consistent sales over the past months. And again, this has been printed quite a bit and is easy to put in Commander decks in the future. But I think it's a great time to get in on Stonehewer. On to my number 7. My number 7 is going to be Sardas Aid. Now, this has had plenty of reprints, and I believe it was in a Challenger deck, if I remember correctly. So it was it in a Challenger deck, or was it in some sort of other pre-constructed deck? Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it was in a Commander deck. But this one does have a hefty little price point already at $8 market price. And the sales, of course, for this one are great. I mean, it's definitely a staple in the Commander format, and multiple sell per day. But again, I think it's a great time to get in before, if every time there is a Commander that wants this card spikes. As you can see, it's big valleys and mountains over the course of its 1 year cycle even here. But yeah, this one I think is just a very dull card. You can cast equipments as flash, and whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach it to target creature control. And that's what's cool about Captain America. If we go back to how Captain America works, is the throw is an activated ability, so you can use it instant speed. And so Sardas Aid allows you to cast an equipment as an instant and immediately attach it, and then you have a way to unattach it from Captain America to then dish off, kill any threats at that point. So I think that's a really, really good combo with Sardas Aid. So yeah, I think this one is going to go in basically every deck. This is going to be 90% upwards inclusion in Captain America. Alrighty, on to my number 6. Number 6 is going to be Stoneforge Mystic. Now, again, this already has a high price point, but it is going to be an auto-include in most decks. And that's why it's not higher up on the list, because everyone already knows about this. It's already a very popular card in multiple formats, very popular card in Commander. When it enters the battlefield, you get an equipment card. It comes out the turn before Captain America, and then on the turn after, you can easily just put an equipment on the battlefield, onto the battlefield, and then if you can equip it over, then you can start the throw cycle with Captain America. So not much to talk about Stoneforge Mystic. It is at one of its lower points in the last rolling calendar. It's been it's down to about $17, and that's lower than at least this last 6 months is at its low, and it sells quite consistently as you'd expect from a staple. The price is very high for what do you consider a spec card, because these typically have a lot less chance of going up just due to how much supply and how these higher value cards, people know where they're at. They know typically you don't see these big swings in prices of known cards that are staples in other decks. A, people already have them for other decks and just slot it into Captain America, and B, again, people know their inventory of this and already have them up on market, and it's a lot harder to beat past the price memory and what people think is the going rate for this card. So it would be higher if it was a lower end card with less reprintings. Anyway, we'll go on to our number 5. Number 5 is going to be the Forge Anew. So this is from Lord of the Rings. When it enters the battlefield, return target equipment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So that's actually quite popular, or quite good if you are running things like Faithless Looting. I mean, you're in red, so red and blue have ways to loot things into the graveyard. And then you can get an equipment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then you can activate equip abilities anytime you can cast an instant, which is actually pretty good on your turn. It is on your turn, but that means that you can, in response, throw on a Lightning Greaves or whatever, and it does make the throw catch a lot more snappy. So you can, again, respond to your opponent's trying to remove things, and yeah, it makes it a lot better for Captain America to utilize the equipments. And then you may pay 0 rather than pay the equip cost of the first equip ability you activate, which again is huge because there is a very high cost to unequip to throw the weapon with Captain America. So I think this one, again, is just going to be anything that reduces the equip cost is going to be included in Captain America, because it is going to be such a mana-intensive, mana-hungry deck. So what I like about this one is it does have huge supply. It does have lots of sales in the past 3 months. It's still consistently selling about 8 per day in the 1 month, but the price is super low. It's $1.77. So I think this is definitely going to be a card that is sought after and included in the Captain America. Alrighty, so on to my number 4. Number 4 is going to be Fighter Class from AFR. And when it enters the battlefield, you get a search for an equipment, put it in your hand, and then equip abilities you cost 2 less to activate. So of course you want to get this to level 2, and I don't really care about the level 3. You just want the equip cost down so that you can start juggling those equipments with Captain America. Not much to say about this one. I was actually surprised at the price of this, because I just remember this card being very bulky, during the draft days. But I guess it's been, pricey for quite some time. I always underestimate casuals. That's my bad. Am I only on foils here? So I'm not sure. Or is there only foils left in the? Yeah, I've got to have just foils listed. Or let's go to all. Oh, that's promo packs. Okay, I've got it as a promo pack, so of course they're going to be foil. So Fighter Class might be a little bit different for. Let's go ahead and check Fighter Class. Have the wrong one clicked here for Fighter Class. Maybe it was I always click on the cheapest one, so maybe that is still, yeah, I guess it is the cheapest one. So the foils promo packs are the cheapest ones. There wasn't a lot of supply there with Fighter Class, but you can see, yeah, a little bit cheaper here with around the $3 to $4 range for this card. I mean, market price is $4.91. Last one sold around $4. And you can see, though, they do sell quite consistently as well. And as I stated before, anything that reduces the equip costs is going to be a shoe-in for Captain America, because it is going to be such a mana-intensive, hungry deck. So on to my number 3. My number 3 is going to be Training Grounds, and this one does the opposite. So you want to reduce the activated or the equip cost. This actually reduces the activated ability down to 1 with Captain America. And you can also put, there's a couple others that do this. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. It's called Hive. Oh, I can't remember the other one that reduces it by one. But Training Grounds is cool because a lot of the ones that you can search up, there are a few tutors that can search up like an artifact or an enchantment. So you can go get Training Grounds with that. And Training Grounds, of course, I think it's going to be people should absolutely be putting this in their deck. And then it allows for Captain America to really go crazy with throwing the equipments and then re-equipping them and throwing them again. A lot of these equipments are equip 2 or equip 3, so if you have like a fighter class and a Training Grounds out, it's 1-in-1, so for 2 mana you can just start flinging things at people. And it's a very, very efficient removal engine at that point. So not much to say about this one. Again, as other had some recent reprintings. It was reprinted in March of the Machine Aftermath, as well as a promo in the Wild Drain promo packs. Those are what stores get for like FNMs and things like this. So there is quite a bit of supply on the market at the moment. As you can see, there's 997 in this lot, but lots sell per day. I mean, this is a very popular card in the Commander format. The more people, I think that the reprinting of this in Aftermath actually made people aware that this card exists. I'm actually surprised like a standard deck hasn't broken this yet, but there's always that implication, or like now that it is legal in Pioneer too. So it kind of has that little double dipping that you got to think that somewhere along the line some deck will break it in the future. But as far as Commander's concerned, there's plenty of Commanders that want their activated abilities reduced, so it's kind of evergreen in the Commander format, and Captain America is definitely going to be one of those Commanders that you're going to want to throw it in. So I always like Commanders that are very Commander-centric, like the ones that you want to be absolutely using your commander. So not like the cards around your commander. It's going to be the commander that's the star of the show. And Captain America, if you look at how you build this deck, it's definitely everything is going to be synergizing with Captain America. You're going to want to build him up. You're going to want to hexproof and indestructible or whatever, and then start getting some big equipments on Captain America, and then really, really start utilizing the throw and the catch abilities, mainly the throw abilities. And Training Ground, reducing it to 1, is everything you want in a card. So be looking for this one to spike up when Captain America is released. On to my number 2. My number 2 is going to be Pure Steel Paladin. I really like this one because it did have some recent reprints, and it's very cheap at this point. So it's like $1 you can get in on these cards. I'd try to find these in more bulky bin things. And whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you draw a card. You're going to be running quite a few equipment, I'd think, because you're going to be wanting to run the Swift Boots, Lightning Greaves. They're still really good to throw on Captain America. As I said, if you can put Death Touch, you can even look at all the cards that have the 0 equips and whatnot to get some sheer value out of Captain America. But Pure Steel Paladin, again, has that ability to make the equip cost go down to 0 as long as you have Metalcraft. It's just super easy with like a Soul Ring Arcane Signet, and you're already there with the equipment. So Pure Steel Paladin is, like I mentioned, very, very low at the moment. The cheapest one right now, I believe, is going to be the Universes Beyond Fallout one, which can be had for like $1.36. I've seen listings for under $1 too for this card. So that's what I like the most about it. It is very, very low at this point, and it is a staple in. There's still some modern decks that run Pure Steel Paladin from time to time, so it does have that going for it. And of course, lots of commander decks run Pure Steel Paladin, any equipment commander in the future, and it seems to be quite the theme. But then you can make the counter argument that, okay, let's start throwing this, especially now that it's a very, very cheap card. They can start just throwing it in all the precons, which is true, but you'll still see that initial spike in the sales of this card and the price of this card and the buy list of this card as soon as Captain America comes out. So we have on to our number 1, and our number 1, of course, is the equipment of my choice. I could have gone a lot of equipments here. I want to be a little more creative like the enablers, because I think that you can really run whatever equipment you want in the deck. I was even thinking of like the Decoction module, I think is what it's called, the one that just came out that just has equip cost of sacrifice a creature. It's a 5 mana equipment. That's very reasonable. Things like Ember Cleave that attach if you've attacked enough creatures. It has high cost, easy to equip. But Excalibur, this one is definitely the card that I think is going to be seen in every Captain America. It's going to be the dream scenario. It does get reduced for every historic card, so Captain America is going to decrease it. All your soul rings, all your arcane signets, all of your other equipment are going to reduce it. So it's not. And if you can just cheat into play with the plethora of cards already mentioned, they can, like Stoneforge Mystic, for example, they can get this into play. Then it's quite easy to equip it just for 2 as well. Equip a legendary creature for 2, fling it at someone for 12. Re-equip it, fling it, re-equip it. It's very easy just at that point to start shooting down players. And giving the vigilance is actually quite nice with plus 10 plus 0 in vigilance. Other than, yeah, because you can recatch it. I guess you'd already attack at that point. But I mean, that's a way to get the card equipped. I guess Captain America is great just getting Excalibur equipped with just attacking in. Really, it's just this is just about cheating into play, which also I think makes the Forge Anew a lot better of a spec, with Excalibur going to be the go-to card with Captain America. I think this is going to be the 1-2 punch of everyone's going to really try to build around Captain America and Excalibur. So currently right now Excalibur is quite expensive. The most recent was $17.89, but you can see there's a lot of them down around this like $8 range. Not a lot of multiples at that point. Like TCG Player used to have a way to separate it with 4 or more. Wonder why they got rid of that. Or might not just finding it. Maybe it's up here in some sort of filters. Let me know in the comment section if there still is a way to look at the 4 or more, because that could give you a better judge of pricing when you could look at, you can filter by 4 or more. Here we go. It's $10 is what I would consider the real world value when you go to the carts that are actually reasonable to check out. And so $10 I think is pretty reasonable for a card that was just in Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed has been was a pretty popular set. The supply is starting to run a little bit lower. Look at the amount of these cards that are actually sold, like 2,500 in the last 3 months. That is very significant. So it still has a lot of sales per day, as you can see. So hot card as it is, again, it's not as low, but this is a card that's already going up, and I think Captain America is just going to put a lot more fuel onto this fire of the Excalibur. So anyway, there is my top 10 cards that I think are great buys in anticipation for Captain America First Avenger. As I stated, they're probably, I think all of them will be popular. Like, that's the cool thing about Commanders. The Commander doesn't necessarily have to be like CE8H quality. Anything that's fun, people try to build around. And some of them, like the Wolverine, seemed to be the one that was the least interesting because it's like a attack. But, you know, some people do just like to Voltron attack with Commanders. And there was Iron Man, and this seemed kind of fun to build around. And Black Panther, actually, I think is more interesting than people are going to give credit for. And maybe we'll have to take a look at those. But Captain America, by far, is the one that is absolutely the most interesting, and I think will be the one that just comes out the gates with people really, really losing their minds and want to build this commander as quickly as possible. So get ahead of the surge of buys and pick up these cards, and multiples, of course, and I think you'll have some great trade value or sell value for everyone trying to pick up these cards. This has been Kevin with the Rogue Market. Thanks for watching.